Okay, so today we are starting with the chapter 14 of English literature, that is Scout Shows the Way. This is written by Harper Lee. Actually, this is an extract which has been taken from a novel, and that novel was written by Harper Lee. And the theme of this chapter is our neighbor and community. So first we will have an introduction about the writer of the chapter, that is Harper Lee was an American writer whose first novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. The extract is taken from the same novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, was awarded the Pulitzer Prize and voted the best novel of the century in 1999. She was presented with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in November 2007. In her novel, Lee creates memorable characters and explores civil rights and racism in the southern United States of the 1930s. Do you understand what is racism? Can anyone tell me what is racism? To make the differences between the people on the basis of their races, on the basis of color, on the basis of their caste. So such discrimination are known as racism. So she also wrote about those topics in her novel. Now the introduction about the chapter. To Kill a Mockingbird is one of the most loved and admired novels of the 20th century. This extract is one of the most dramatic scenes in the book. The book follows 3 years in the life of the 8-year-old Scout Finch, her elder brother Jem, and their father Atticus. Atticus, a lawyer, is preparing to defend the case of Tom Robinson, who has been falsely accused of a serious crime. Scout breaks in on Atticus' confrontation with a group of men who wish to harm Tom Robinson. Here, the extract that is taken in your book, the chapter, basically it is the story about the Scout Finch. She's a girl, her elder brother James, and her father Atticus. Atticus is a lawyer, and he was working on a case for Tom Robinson, who had been falsely accused for some crime. The same kind of thing we have discussed in a chapter earlier. Can anyone tell me where someone was accused for a false crime?
In the chapter 12, doctor was accused for the crime.
Yes, chapter 12, the shoemaker. There also the main character, the shoemaker, was accused for the false crime. Narrated in the first person. Narrated in the first person means the person himself or herself is narrating the story. This extract allows us to see how the adults around her are shamed by her innocence and her sense of fairness about the scout, about the girl. The other characters in this extract are the sheriff, Hecate, and Dill, Scout, and Jim's friends. So this is the introduction about the chapter, that what is this chapter all about. Now I'm starting reading the chapter. A long extension cord run between the bars of a second floor window and down the side of the building. In the light from its bare bulb, Atticus was sitting propped against the front door. So here it is showing that a long extension cord was running through the bars of a window which is there on the second floor, and now it is coming down to the building, and in the light there was a bulb with which this extension cord is connected, and that bulb was rarely showing any light, and in that light one can see that Atticus was sitting. Who was the Atticus? The father of the scout. He was sitting in one of his office chairs and he was reading, oblivious of the night bugs dancing over his head. So the father, the Atticus, was sitting there on a chair and he was reading something. I made to run, but Jem caught me. Now we are the scout. Since we have mentioned that the story is narrated in the first person, means the scout herself is narrating the story. So I made to run means who was I here? The scout. Finch ran, but Jem caught me. Who was Jem? The elder brother of Finch. She was running, but her elder brother caught him. Don't go to him, he said. He might not like it. He is all right. Let's go home. I just wanted to see where he was. And what did the elder brother say? The elder brother said that when the Finch was running, maybe to meet her father, her elder brother came. He stopped her and he told her that do not go there. Maybe the father is busy with some work. He may not like that we would disturb him. And now we should go home. I came here just to see where he was. We were taking a short cut across the square when four dusty cars came in from the Meridian Highway. Moving slowly in a line, they went around the square, past the bank building, and stopped in front of the jail. Now here they are describing about the four cars when both Jem and Finch were returning back to their house, and on their way they saw four dusty cars on the Meridian Highway. All the four cars were moving in a line. First they passed the bank building and then they stopped in front of the jail. Nobody got out. We saw Atticus look up from his newspaper. He closed it, folded it deliberately, dropped it in his lap, and pushed his hat to the back of his head. He seemed to be expecting them. Now, what the children saw, now they were observing the action of their father. What did he do? He was reading the newspaper, so he looked up from the newspaper, he put the newspaper down, he adjusted his hat, and all these were the actions or the reactions of Atticus, as if he was expecting those people who were there in the car to come at that place, to come to meet him. Come on, whispered Jim. Now, whispered asked the scout Finch to go along with him. We sneaked across the square, across the street, until we were in the shelter of the Jitney jungle door. Jem peeked up the side wall. Now here the meaning of peeked up is given, looked quickly. So now they started moving across the square, across the street, until we were in the shelter of the Jitney jungle door. They mentioned about a shelter, and Jem quickly looked by the side wall. They were trying to see what was happening there. We can get closer, he said. The elder brother Jem said that they could get closer. We ran to Tyndall's hardware door near enough at the same discreet. In ones and twos, men got out of the car. Now, when they saw all this, they were going back to the home, but when they saw the four cars coming there, they started looking at them that what is going to happen now. So they were trying to hide somewhere and they were trying to have a quick view from the side wall so that they can see what is happening there, but none of them could see the Finch and to her elder brother. So in ones and twos, men got out of the car. Now some people got out of the car. Shadows became substance. What does it mean? Shadows became substance. Means first when somebody is coming, you can see the shadow only. But when you can see the person in real, that is substance. Here the substance means you can see the person in real and not the shadow only. So shadows become substance when the men came out of the car. First, you can see the shadow only. If there is no proper light or it is the time of the night, you can see if someone is coming out of the car and the person is not exactly out of the car. First, you will see the shadow only. And then when the person is exactly out of the car, then you can see the person. So, shadows became substance as light revealed solid shapes moving towards the jail door. The men who came out of the car, they started moving towards the jail door. Atticus remained where he was. The men hid him from view. And Atticus, the father of the two children, remained at his place and the men hid him from the view. Means one of the men came in front of him. He, in there, Mr. Finch, a man said, he is. We heard Atticus answer, and he is asleep. Don't wake him up. Now, this is the conversation one of the men asked about someone. And what was the reply of the Atticus? That yes, he is there, but he is sleeping, and do not wake him up. In obedience to my father, there followed what I later realized was a sickeningly comic aspect of an unfunny situation. Now here this particular phrase, a sickeningly comic aspect of an unfunny situation. The meaning is given here, a funny aspect of a situation that was not funny at all. Means there is suppose there is some serious situation and something funny happened suddenly, which should not be there, which should not happen there. Although it seems funny, but such things should not happen in a serious situation. So, in obedience to my father, there followed what I later realized was a sickeningly comic aspect of an unfunny situation. The men talked in near whispers. Means when the father told that person that whosoever uh, those men were trying to find or about whom they were asking, that person was sleeping, and Atticus told them not to wake him up. So the men who came there, they followed the instruction, but all this seemed somewhere funny to the them, the elder brother and the men who walked in, they started whispering. You know what we want, another man said. Get aside from the door, Mr. Finch. Now there was some other reaction came from the men that he told to the father, you know what we want and you should not come in our way. You should be on side so that we can get inside. You can turn around and go home again, Walter, Atticus said pleasantly. Hectates around somewhere. Now, the father of the two, Atticus, told them that you turn around and it's better that you go your home. And he said the name Walter. Hectates around somewhere.